Okay, Internet. This is Magnifica Sylvie La Chardonnière. I'm Laurel in the West Kingdom. And today I am going to be making cooking challenge number 6, which is sour cherries cooked in wine. I don't have sour cherries, but I do have sweet cherries. And I have citric acid, so I'm sure it's the same thing. Okay, totally not, but whatever. I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to add about, I don't know, a half a teaspoon of the citric acid just to bring up the sourness a bit. The recipe says to remove the sour cherry stems and wash them, which is what I've done so far. The sour cherry stems removed and washed. I'm going to go the additional step of also using my pitter because I have a 6-year-old and I don't think I can rely on him to spit out the pits. So I'm going to go ahead and pit these before I throw them into my saucepan. Let's see. So we're going to put them in a pot, pour some wine. I'm using some sherry wine. I have it open. I used it last week for the compost recipe. I'm probably going to use about a cup of that. That seems decent. And I'm going to add to it some honey. This is in the Little Bear, but honestly, it's honey from my farmer's market that I repotted into the honey because it has a cute little squirty cap that makes it easier to use. And then I'm also going to add some ground cinnamon. This is basic ground cinnamon, if I have it, and I do. But if you don't have any, you can do without. Okay, and then it says that I am to slice bread into cubes. I asked Safeway to send me some artisan bread, which is usually a big loaf of bread that you would use for dipping in stew, but instead they sent me a loaf of bread called artisan bread, so we'll see how that turns out. This is going to be cut into cubes and then fried in butter because butter makes everything better. Let's see. So we're not doing the next part about a fasting man because seriously, buttered bread with cherries and wine sounds fabulous. Once it's served, I will sprinkle some sugar over top. So there you go. That's the steps I'm going through. On to the making. All right, half a teaspoon because, we wouldn't want it to be too sweet. And then a cup of sherry. All right, give this a boil, let it do its thing. Okay, Internet, so this has been on here boiling for a little bit. The cherries are not breaking down. I kind of expected they would, though, in retrospect, it kind of makes sense that they're not. I decided I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, so I'm going to go ahead and add that now. And a 1/4 cup of honey. I'm afraid too much honey is going to overwhelm it, so I'll start at a 1/4 cup, see how it goes. I did also coat the measuring cup with a little bit of oil, so hopefully, well, okay, that's not going to do anything. So normally you put a little oil in there and the honey will slide right out, but not today. Today I'm recording, so of course not. So anyway, 1/4 cup of honey and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to let this go for a little while longer and then do up the bread. So come back later. 2 tablespoons of butter. So there you go, Internet. Here's where I ended up. I ended up using 3 slices of the bread, cooked it up in butter. It was really hard to leave the bread alone. I really wanted to just sample the butter fried bread because, bread and butter is all good. It looks like I probably could have used at least 1 more slice of bread to soak up all that nice juice. I did end up pairing this tonight with some pork roast that I had. It's a nice complement to just a basic meat. It kind of has the consistency of a bread pudding. It's not the prettiest thing. I guess it's a modern thing. I really want sort of a brown on top or something. I suppose a sprinkle of sugar could take the place of that and give you the nice finish on top. And I will say also, it went well with savory, but if, say, your husband happens to have made a recipe of pie with snow, which is medieval for whipped cream, It also goes towards the sweet side and makes a decent dessert. So there you go. I'd make it again.